Here are my top three tips for getting bigger. Let's go. Number one, control your eccentric. If you're someone who cares about getting bigger, you need to start controlling your stretch. There's a ton of reasons why you should control your eccentric. The first one is this: if you're going to get injured lifting weights, the chances are you're going to get injured in what you call the transition phase. By slowing this phase down, by having control, you reduce the risk of injury so significantly that it is 100% worth doing. The best thing I ever heard was that there's two paths to the same place. One path gets you there with less risk of injury. The other path gets you there with the same risk of injury. So you might as well be safe. I'm actually of the belief that you're getting more out of each rep if you control your eccentric. I believe the biggest contributor to the muscle growth is a term called mechanical tension, which refers to the amount of force production usually in a specific muscle. I believe that by slowing down your eccentric, you actually get more of this mechanical tension per rep and ultimately end up with a more effective set. Number two, pick a hypertrophic rep range. What do I mean by this? Basically, anywhere between 5 reps and 30 reps is a good option. For me, whereabouts in the 5 to 30 range I am depends on the muscle I'm working. I like to go higher reps on muscles that are usually smaller. And the reason for this is because smaller muscles are usually surrounded by smaller connective tissues, smaller slash weaker joints. And so the last thing I want to do is overload a small muscle or an area that typically doesn't have the strongest of joints. I actually go on the lower side of the rep ranges whenever I'm doing a big compound lift as well, because what happens if you do loads and loads of reps of, say, squats, is you can bring other limiting factors into the movement. You can take away from the point of the exercise, which in a squat, for example, could be to stimulate the quads as much as possible. Now, if my breathing or my cardiovascular system is the reason why that set is stopping, then that is obviously not a good thing. Now, number three is one of the most common mistakes I see people making, and that is not training muscles as often as they could be. Almost every single muscle can be trained at least twice a week. I don't care how hard you're training, almost every single muscle can be trained twice a week. I like to think of lifting weights as a three-stage cycle, and that is stimulate, rest, and adapt. In other words, we train the muscle, we give it sufficient recovery time, and then we'll get the adaptation. This cycle, for most muscles, doesn't take a full week. And if you think about it, the more you do that cycle, the bigger the muscle gets. Have a look at how fast your muscles are recovering and see if you can train it more than once a week. Guys, if you found these tips useful, make sure to follow us on Instagram, hit the like button, and enjoy the rest of your day.